Hello, and welcome to the daily E3 Duck Game 2015 news. So that whole E3 thing happened, and I had a plan. During the conferences, which, like, this is just how it is. Like, they are sometimes boring, like, either because they have just super boring stuff or stuff that you're not interested in, like sports. So
Sports.
while the conferences were happening, I were designing duck game levels. So I just want to start off by showing off those levels. So here, we have a level which has a theme. You can probably guess. There's boxes. You're like supposed to kill the other ducks with boxes. And if you wait really long, and if you're really bad at killing ducks with boxes, you will eventually have like actual weapons spawn. I can't remember what I made spawn there, but yeah. It does not come with sock puppets and Ryman Rockman character. I'm afraid I haven't made that mod. So yeah, I'll just like quickly go through the levels I made. I made a bunch of levels actually. So here's another one. This one I call
Oh,
Forts,
wow.
and it's based on like a type of level you would see in one of the Worms games. So like the entire idea is that you have two buildings which are actually completely symmetrical. Like I spent a lot of time making sure that they are the same but mirrored. That took a lot of time.
Jesus.
So
Wow.
so yeah, like the entire idea is that like you will defend each fort by stuff. But I guess we'll just see how that works in action. Hopefully it'll work out. Another level. This one is called Grenade Trap. So if Wesker moves his head a little bit, because he's there we go. Yeah. So two players will spawn here with grenades spawning extremely quickly, and these two guys just have to stay alive. And
Okay.
that's basically the entire idea. It's basically a really unfair level. Like eventually weapons will spawn here, so these two guys have a chance, but that takes a while. And here we have another one. This is called I don't remember, but there's like mines and like weapons you can blow up with rockets and
This.
what?
What was with the gold guns in that last one? We're playing Call of Duty.
Oh yeah, if you don't know, gold guns means they're infinite. But you can only get access to them with rockets. They don't spawn right away.
Okay.
And this one, yeah, it's just a level. Like it has a, you have a choice here. Like you have two locked doors, but only one key. So which door will you go to? The one with the magnum or the one with the pistols? Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so, do you remember the Roman candle weapon in the game?
Oh dear.
So when they're golden, they never run out. Like you throw them, and they will just keep like setting everything on fire. So that this is basically like a level like how long can you survive thing. So that's kind of fun. And this is like a rope race thing
Oh,
with
this
spikes, and I made a variant
Oh, yeah.
without spikes because I realized maybe spikes are a bit too
one.
mean.
Springs. Oh my god.
Yes, also springs. And one more level. This one didn't take long to make.
Wow.
So wait, can you set it so you automatically spawn with a weapon?
Yeah, you can.
Oh.
So that's kind of neat. So yeah, those are the
Cool.
8 levels I made during E3. So I would just wanna like start off E3 talk with Capcom related stuff. So I wanna say that I was very much wrong. No RE7, no DMC5, no Soul Calibur 6, even though that's not Capcom related anyway. So that's kind of sad for me. But I mean, they have to announce this at one point. Like it can't take long. Like, come on.
Gamescom in
Maybe.
August.
Yeah, that's August. TGS, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't only announce mobile games at TGS. We'll see.
Oh, actually, I just thought of another event where they might announce stuff.
What?
I think PlayStation is doing that PlayStation Experience in December again this year.
Oh yeah. That's also a thing. Like that's where they announced Street Fighter 5 last year, if I recall.
Yeah.
So they did show off a bunch of RE0 gameplay at E3, and
I missed that.
well they will stream it again today and also again tomorrow. They're just streaming it
Okay.
daily. There's also archive which is easy to watch, and they basically had almost the entire train bit in the demo, and graphically it looks extremely good. Like they've done a really good job with the backgrounds, and it really shows in motion. Like they have a lot of stuff moving in the background, and it just looks extremely good. And like feature-wise, it seems to be handled very similar to every Resident Evil HD remaster, where you have selection between classic controls and the new controls, and the new controls work the same way as in remaster. They still don't really have any turning animations, and 4x3 and 6x9 selection is still the same. The only difference is that for in-game cutscenes they have decided to make them much wider than the originals. So I guess that would have meant they had to render the backgrounds a little bit differently to like show more. I'm kind of curious if they ever considered doing that for gameplay as well, but I imagine that would have ended up with a lot more work, because they would have maybe had to update like collision models and stuff to make that work properly. And there's been a little bit of news about DMC4 Special Edition.
Okay.
So hold on to your hats, people. This is going to be pretty exciting.
Oh, no.
So one new feature, they're adding DMC4 Special Edition. Never been possible in any earlier DMC game. All new microtransactions. You don't have enough Proud Souls? You can buy them. You want to unlock new difficulty levels? You can buy them. You want access to Super Dante and Super Nero? You can buy them with real money. Yeah, that's actually a thing. That's actually a thing.
Fuck you, Capcom. Seriously.
It should be emphasized that all of this can be unlocked via normal gameplay, and I hope they haven't made it more grindy in any way, to encourage people to pay real money. But I will assume they haven't, and in that case, this isn't such a big deal. But it's a little bit stupid. Like it's just a tiny bit stupid. Just a tiny bit
the
stupid.
option to buy that stuff with real money should not fucking be there. It sets a really bad precedent.
Yeah.
I thought it was bad enough that you could buy, like, raid mode continues in Revelations 2 with real money, but this...
yeah, that's a bit silly.
Oh, hey, it's Rainbow Six Siege.
So yeah, I guess now we can talk about other E3 stuff. So one of the things they showed off is the co-op for Rainbow Six Siege. Well, I mean, I would assume this is actually just the single player stuff as well, which is, I think they call this Terror Hunt, and it's kind of like Terrorist Hunt mode from previous Rainbow Six games. So I think this has 4 modes, and this is one of the modes where you will infiltrate a barricaded building and you have to defuse these bombs. They also showed this during the conference, and I think the gameplay they showed during the conference was a lot more like it just looked more fun than this, because that actually showed the infiltration bit where you had to be like careful and like coordinate with your teammates. I think this bit where you find the bomb and you start defusing it looks a little bit less interesting, because then it basically just become like defend this area for X amount of seconds, and like you just have enemies flowing at you from all directions.
This looks really intense, though.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see the other modes. I think at the stage they mentioned one of the modes is a Terror Hunt Classic, so I guess that would just be like, for instance, the Vegas games where you have a barricaded building with a bunch of enemies and you just have to hunt them down, and that's it. And I mean that is pretty simple, but I think that would be like fun enough. And so I'm really curious to see more of this and also play it. And 6 FPS, you guys. I like 6 FPS.
Yeah.
6 FPS. I guess I'll just go through this list of notes I've written down now. So one of the things announced is, for instance, Microsoft announced Xbox One will have backwards compatibility with Xbox 360
So
games.
happy about that. Yes.
And
That was a
that is
biggie.
really surprising.
Yeah.
And apparently it's done via emulation, and according to people who's been able to try it already, it actually just works really well. The only downside is that the amount of supported games will be limited. Like right now it is super limited on like only for testing reasons, and apparently like by the end of this year they're gonna have more than 100 games available.
I also heard something else about that. Like currently, PAL versions of disc-based games don't work currently.
Well, hopefully
But
they'll fix that.
Yeah, but
Because
like
that'd be a big deal.
US disc games do work. It's really weird.
Yeah. And Microsoft announced a new game called Sea of Thieves, made by Rare.
Oh yeah.
And I'm actually not sure, like, is this an MMO or is it just a multiplayer game? But apparently it's like this pirate-themed game where you can have a crew of players, man a ship and go around, find loot, defeat evil skeletons, fight other players. It looked kind of interesting, but I would like to know more about how it plays and everything. We didn't get to see a lot of details about it during the conference.
Yeah.
And that's announced for Xbox One, and Windows 10 PCs.
Wait, hold.
Yay!
It was?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Xbox One. Huh.
Yeah, it's for Windows 10 PCs. So this is a thing which I think it was both good and bad about Microsoft. They announced a surprising amount of PC titles at E3.
Yeah.
They're all only for Windows 10. Only for Windows 10,
Yeah.
like Killer Instinct, Gears of War Ultimate. Those are also PC titles they announced. I think they announced a couple of more, and they're all for Windows 10. So
Wait, that was confirmed?
Killer
When did-
Instinct, yes, like they had a tweet saying like Windows 10. And Gears of War Ultimate, I mean, I don't think I saw Windows 10 specifically, but like, I mean, they specifically said Windows 10 for everything else. I just assume I'm very certain like that also has to be Windows 10 only. They just seem to really be pushing it right now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I guess I hope Windows 10 is a good OS because I don't like I don't like going to a new version of Windows and realizing, oh yeah, all this stuff I like using, it doesn't work anymore. Poop.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to get the free upgrade too, so that's good.
Yeah, if you have Windows 8, you will get a free upgrade. If you upgrade within like
And-
2016 August or something.
Oh yeah, and
Alright,
I think
alright.
like certain versions of Windows 7. I could be
Alright,
wrong
so,
about that.
alright, so we might as well clear this up now. So you can upgrade to Windows 10 for free if you own Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 8.1. It launches July 29th, and and you have 1 year, so from July 29th this year to July 29th next year, you have that year to decide to take the upgrade for free. If you don't have one of those operating systems, it's like $120 for a Windows 10 home license. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, as it's being shown, I guess we can also babble about Star Wars Battlefront. That was
This
That
looks
looks really cool.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
really good.
and like graphically, it kind of just looks incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think this prequel movies and just everything which happened with Star Wars around that time did a really good job killing my interest in the franchise, even though I was a super huge Star Wars geek during the 90s. And I think this is like starting to pull me back. Like I think the Star Wars geek inside me is like starting to like reappear. And yeah, I hope the game is a lot of fun because this is something I could easily get into, and they've done a really good job just making it look and sound authentic. And they also like they just have a lot of stuff which is from the Star Wars movies which we haven't seen in any game yet. Like for instance, like in the other movie, I mean trailer, they showcased that one long rifle which stormtroopers had in some Tatooine scenes in New Hope, and I just never seen that before. And like it's just insane how just authentic everything looks and sounds in this.
Yeah.
Like which also leads to one of my complaints about this. Like all the music you heard during the trailers are all music from the original trilogy. That's really good music I'm sick tired of. Please let me listen to other music. And also personally, I'm also tired of hearing the Wilhelm scream everywhere, so I hope that's not actually in the game, because that'll just make me sigh every time I hear it.
Well, I heard it in both the EA and the Sony footage.
Yeah, I guess we should mention this is a new co-op mode they revealed during E3, which looks to be kind of like a horde mode-esque survival thing. And it kind of sounds like single-player and co-op will all be in this style. I don't think it'll have a traditional single-player campaign, which I'm personally, I think I'm okay with anyway.
So, as I was looking over the Sony conference footage for the Babble Gang reactions videos I'm working on, so the guy on stage, he mentioned like a whole bunch of single-player and co-op modes. I think he said something like trials of some description. So there might be more than
Ignore
just
those
this.
error messages if you see them. Yeah. I can remember like those mode mentions. Like trials kind of sounds like it. I think they explain that as something which would like train you for like the multiplayer or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna get the impression they might be like tutorial-esque. I don't know. And like yeah, they also mentioned like a 1-versus-1 mode with like AI on both sides. Like they mentioned a hero mode where you get to play as like the heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of heroes, this is one of the greatest heroes of the Star Wars franchise.
couldn't help but laugh when I saw Akbar there.
Yeah, and his voice is so great. Like at one point he just goes, "Here, have a drop pod, meh." I wish I could do a good Akbar voice. I can't. I'm sorry.
Alright, so it has actually been sort of revealed why it looks so good and authentic and stuff. Like one of the visual tricks they used is a technique called photogrammetry. So what they did is they went into the Lucasfilm vault and they took lots and lots and lots of pictures. And photogrammetry is a technique that lets you take those pictures and basically turn them into textures.
Wow.
It's been
Actually,
used.
turning pictures into textures, I think that's just like saving a picture as a texture. I think that's actually not that. You can keep going.
Well, the technique's been used in a couple of other games. For example, if anyone's familiar with The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, that's been out for a little while on PC.
I've
that
heard
uses
of it,
the technique,
but
that uses the technique, and it also looks really, really, really pretty.
but like normally I think I would be a bit concerned, like maybe they're doing some bullshittery. But I have played like some of the new Battlefield games, and they look great and perform really great. So like
Yeah.
I will just expect this will just look like this, and it shouldn't. It hopefully won't be too demanding.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it runs in 60 FPS on consoles, I think.
Yeah, I think I heard them say that. And all the footage they've released so far is 60 FPS. I think they even said like this is running on a real PS4, something like that.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that message.
And it's apparently going to be released in November this year, if I recall.
I believe
wow.
that's correct. Yes.
So Microsoft, they announced a new controller.
Oh god.
Where you like swap out the analog sticks, have like new weird thingies on the back of it. You could swap out the D-pad. It looks really weird. It's really expensive, like $120 or something. It's kind of insane.
$150.
$150. Yeah, that's kind of pricey. That's kind of pricey. And Microsoft also announced a Rare Replay or Rare Collection with 30 games.
Decon Racing!
I think it's safe to conclude they won't have anything owned by Nintendo in that. But I think that collection is still kind of surprising
I'll
because
stop
30
doing
games.
that, I promise.
30 games is a lot of games.
Yeah.
There's one small oddity there, though, like Conker's Bad Fur Day is there, but they added the Nintendo 64 version, not the Xbox version. Found that to be a little bit weird.
See, that's bullshit.
So, yeah, I'm wondering if they wanted to try and fit everything on a single Blu-ray disc, because there's actually quite a few Xbox 360 games in this collection as well, and they probably took up quite a bit of space.
Yeah.
Although then again, a lot of the games will also be really small.
Oh yeah, I
don't know.
mean like all the NES and SNES era stuff like that would fit into megabytes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So EA they showed Need for Speed, which is just called Need for Speed, like it's a first for the series. They removed
Really?
it's just called Need for Speed.
That's the first EA game you choose to talk about?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about Star Wars Battlefront, but yeah,
Oh,
like I think I've said all I want to say about Need for Speed. So they also announced Garden Warfare 2.
That they did.
Which looks a lot like Garden Warfare 1, except this time you play as the zombies in the co-op mode.
Graveyard Ops.
Yeah, and I don't think I have anything more to say about that really, because that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
And they revealed gameplay of Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Yeah.
Like an origin story for Faith. There's going to be no guns this time in Mirror's Edge. No guns.
Well, I mean, technically there weren't supposed to be any guns in the first game either.
But they ended up being there, and they ended up making some segments slightly frustrating, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I still remember that power room with all the people with guns, and I was stupid and went for that achievement. I just cried.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that last room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more specific thoughts about Mirror's Edge?
Well,
It looked
I
pretty.
guess
Graphics
yes,
look pretty good.
it did. Like that, like the Frostbite engine is delivering some very nice looking games. That
Yeah,
is for sure.
I do not blame EA for using that engine for basically everything.
All right. Okay. So I have to go back to Battlefront for a minute because this moment that we're seeing in the video right now is just so fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
he's not well dressed for this environment.
Right, so yeah,
But-
Mirror's Edge. So yeah, they did add during the Mirror's Edge thing, like as I said, no levels, no loading.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they did say that. So it's going to be open world this time, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll make the game quite a lot different.
Hopefully that'll work well.
I guess now is a good time to talk about the biggest game of E3, which is Summer Lesson
Oh my
by the
God.
Tekken team. It's a virtual reality game for the Morpheus headset on the PS4, and it's a game where you have summer lessons with a Japanese schoolgirls, and that's the entire game.
Sweet.
This is basically me struggling to find trailers and screenshots for this podcast. Like there's really nothing to say about it. It's just a silly thing, and I don't think this is actually. I don't think this will be a release game. I think this is just a tech demo and it won't ever be released. I'm not sure. So I guess I'll just move along. And Ubisoft announced a new IP for Honor,
Oh yeah.
which looked kind of neat. It looks it looks very much like in the vein of something like Mountain Blade or Chivalry.
Yeah, I definitely got strong chivalry vibes from that.
So they showed a mode where it's 4 versus 4. You can either play as a knight, Viking, or samurai, and you have a ton of AI soldiers on your team.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much of an impact those AI will actually have on the match.
During the footage, it looks like they won't have a huge impact because the players very much focus on going after the other players. And whenever you fight against other players, you basically enter this like weird, almost fighting game-esque mode where you're like locked onto the player. You like the camera. Like switches to be more zoomed in and like over the shoulder, and you like switch between stances. You have to like block and stuff like that. And I heard some people compare it a lot to Bushido Blade, which sounds kind of interesting.
Mm.
So I think that has potential to be pretty fun. I guess we'll just see how it pans out. I think they did announce it for PC too, right? Right? I can't remember.
Oh, actually, was there any platform announcements for For Honor? I don't remember seeing any.
I think there were, but I just completely forgot. I'm just gonna assume that it's Xbox One, PS4, and PC because that seemed to be a pretty common trend with many games.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they also showed more gameplay of the Division, and I'm still confused as to how the hell that game even plays.
Well, from the footage they showed, we know the game really accommodates trolls.
Yeah, apparently
Yeah.
a big mechanic in the game is that you will sometimes meet other players or other groups of players, and you have the choice: do you want to just kill them for the loot, or will you like team up with them and like divide whatever loot you have?
I got the impression that there's that whole betrayal mechanic was like exclusive to this whole dark zone thing that they were actually showing off in that video.
Yeah, that could be true. Like maybe that's like a neutral zone where you can't rely on players to always be friendly. So like during the footage, like they end up betraying the other group, and also one person in your group just like left your group and like killed everyone and took all the fat loots. So yeah, I mean. That game has potential, but I just want to like, how is the structure? Like, is it an open world game? Is it mission based? Like, how does it work? I'm just confused by that bit.
Yeah, it's still a mystery, and that was the Division was another casualty of the great mass delay until 2016.
Oh
So-
yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of titles slated for 2016 during E3.
Yeah.
So and during the Ubisoft conference. Oh yeah, by the way, Capcom announced 2 new fighters for Street Fighter 5. That's a thing, by the way. So yeah, during the Ubisoft conference, they also announced Ghost Recon. I think Wildlands they called it.
Yeah, like that was their hey, we got one last surprise for you game at the end of the conference, and it basically turned into a guessing game. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, and that looks to be like a co-op open world game where you have a lot of freedom in how to like do objectives. Like, they showed one mission done 3 different ways, like stealth, long range, and then like all out explosive combat, short range.
Also, that game has drugs.
Yeah, they show a lot
Yeah,
of
too.
cocaine. So who knows? Maybe that's a thing they'll have in the collector's edition. But yeah, I mean that could be maybe interesting. I don't know. And they showed off one thing which I think might actually pull me back into Trials Fusion. I think they call it Trials Fusion Awesome Level Max, something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. That trailer, my god.
Yeah, I have some screenshots of it somewhere here, but apparently you can now play as a cat riding a unicorn, and I mean that alone pretty much sold me, to be honest. I think this, by the way, is Deus Ex Mankind Divided.
Yeah, it is.
Which
Yeah, I
looks
recognize
pretty
the guy
fancy.
over there.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, it looks good.
And I guess we can just briefly talk about this now. Now we're seeing screenshots, and music is composed by Michael McCann. He makes good music, so I'm really happy about that.
We know.
I think me and Ryman saw a little bit of gameplay footage the other day, and it looks very similar to Human Revolution, just with some new mechanics here and there, and it looks a lot better than Human Revolution. Like, it's a pretty huge graphical upgrade. I will say though, like, some of the screenshots look weird. Like, this is one of the screenshots that they released, and I kind of think the image quality here looks a little bit like poop. Like look at all, like, looks like a really bad sharpening filter. I don't know. Like, I'm just so used to seeing bullshit images. It's weird when I see screenshots with bad image quality. It just makes me confused.
I don't know what to make of that.
Any more thoughts about Mankind Divided? You never asked for this.
Oh no, we asked for this. We totally asked for this. So they had a bit of a longer presentation of Deus Ex Mankind Divided at the PC gaming show, where they talked a lot about the engine and all the fancy PC exclusive enhancements, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And all I really have to say though is that it looks really, really pretty, and I want it now.
I should point out, by the way, this is Final Fantasy 14. Again, I struggle to find relevant screenshots. So I just added this, which I doubt we'll talk about.
Adam doesn't know what he's missing.
If only Adam had time for this podcast, he would be talking right now. I guess one thing we kind of have to talk about, which I am not sure what to make of this. Like, I am pretty sure the Sony conference was fan fiction. I'm pretty sure. They finally showed Last Guardian, which is apparently going to be released this year. They showed
Next year.
Next year? I thought it was this year. Okay, next year.
2016.
Okay, 2016. And they also showed a CG trailer for a Final Fantasy VII remake, which people have been asking for quite a while.
For years.
And if that weren't announced, they announced a Shenmue 3 Kickstarter.
Which was funded in like 8 hours.
Yeah, they had a
2 million.
They had a 2 million goal, and it's currently at 3 million after like 24 hours or something. So that Kickstarter is gonna do pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, any thoughts on fan fiction? Is it real? Is it fake?
The crazy thing is that all three of those things were rumored beforehand, and I didn't believe any of them because it's like I thought it was too good to be true, and then they all fucking happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kinda insane. Although I guess it's worth mentioning Final Fantasy Remake and Shenmue 3, I think, are really far away. I think those are 2017 at the earliest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and like The Last Guardian, like that is by far the most extensive demo we've seen of that game ever.
Yeah, I am really surprised that it kind of just looks the same. I was expecting after like 5 or 6 years it would be very different, but it just looks like, yeah, we've just been making this one game for a really long time, because I am used that, like, when a game takes this long, like Duke Nukem Forever, for instance, it is usually due to them going, okay, let's scrap this and restart from scratch. But in this case, it just looks to be the same concept and everything.
I guess they were more concerned with just getting it out.
I did read some. I think it was from an interview with one of the developers who said that one of the reasons why it took so long is that is that they just kept running into technical problems. For instance, the Last Guardian showing they had a 2009 that actually ran at a stupidly low frame rate, and they had to speed it up for the trailer they made. And
Oh wow.
so apparently they just struggled technically, and that, I guess it's not too surprising considering Eco and Shadow of the Colossus, they also had a lot of technical problems.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
And they also, during the Sony conference, they announced Horizon being developed by Guerrilla Games,
Yeah.
which looks like a game where you fight robot dinosaurs.
It's a very interesting concept, I have to say.
Yeah, the combat looks interesting. I'm kind of curious what the overall structure is.
Hopefully there's like, so when they saw the woman fighting the giant robot dinosaurs, people said that sort of gave them a Monster Hunter vibe, and if it had co-op like Monster Hunter, like I am so in.
You won't have the thing from Monster Hunter though. Well, unless it's really weird, because you can't go like perfect meat with robots. like that isn't a thing.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, Dreams. They announced Dreams at the Sony conference, which is
Oh, that was weird. Yeah.
by the Little Big Planet team, and
It was weird,
Battlefront
but
still looks pretty good graphically.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing about Dreams though, those polar bears are cute.
Yeah. I don't know what to say about it, because just like what.
Yeah.
That was my reaction of it. So I have written only one thing down about Nintendo, which is Mario Maker. Mario Maker looks kind of neat. You can make your own levels. I imagine many people will make many evil levels.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there is one other big thing I have to mention about Nintendo, and that is Star Fox Zero.
Oh yeah, Star Fox
Oh,
Zero,
yeah.
which is apparently being developed by Platinum, who's
Okay.
developing 2 other games announced at E3.
So I'll break it down for you. So apparently, Platinum is developing the campaign, is what has been said online.
This is Trials.
Oh my god, that looks even more amazing than I thought it would.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch that.
What do you say to that?
I say I want to play it.
Oh dear.
What were we talking about again?
I was
Star Fox?
clarifying Platinum's involvement in Star Fox Zero. They're apparently developing the campaign, and one of the reasons. So a lot of people were complaining that it doesn't look that great visually, and well, they apparently said that one of the reasons for that is that it runs at 60 FPS on both the TV and the gamepad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would be slightly demanding.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not sure if I'm entirely cool with them relying that much on the gamepad. Like, it looked like it could be a bit awkward to control.
I definitely do get the impression Nintendo is pushing the gamepad really hard, even when it doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's just like it is the selling point of the Wii U. And then like they also and another thing, but the Nintendo conference, they made a very, very brief mention that NX, the next Nintendo games platform, will be at E3 next year. Well, sometime next year.
Mm.
And I mean, could that be anything but a new console? And how do we feel about there being a new Nintendo console announced next year?
So you know how Zelda was pushed back?
Oh yeah, they could very easily do the same thing as like Twilight Princess and like make that a cross-platform title, like releases for the current one and the next console.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There's lots of gonna happen.
I didn't even think of that. Shit.
But yeah, I mean, on one side, it is not surprising because Wii U, like, it is not doing very great, and especially for third-party companies, it is non-existent basically.
Yeah.
So
You don't think Splatoon sort of saved it?
I haven't seen any mentions of Splatoon selling like crazy.
Okay.
But like,
I
I mean, you have like Xbox One and PS4. They have many titles they can rely on, which are just stupidly popular. Like Batman will sell like crazy. Call of Duty will sell like crazy. Nintendo can only rely on themselves, and they have some first-party stuff which is selling well, but they just can't compete against the other companies, which has just so much more.
And they can't release them as frequently because they have a lot of teams They only have so many teams.
Yeah. I guess that's why you see a lot of outsourcing to like Platinum and etc.
Yeah.
And speaking of Platinum, they're also working on a new project announced by Square Enix, which is has the working title Near New Project.
I'm so happy about that.
I'm certainly curious about this because I know practically nothing about Nier.
The only thing I know about Nier really is that the Japanese version of Nier and other versions of Nier has a completely different main character, which I
No,
find really
yeah.
fascinating.
Like when I heard Platinum was the developer, I was super surprised because I thought Nier was like just a JRPG. I didn't think it was a very combat-heavy game.
Yeah, it's more of an action game than an RPG.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll have to check out the first Nier then if I can find it.
Absolutely, check out the first Nier. Everybody should check out the first Nier because it's gorgeous, has a good story. DC Douglas voices one of the characters in it. The music is awesome. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
I just want to point out that this is an actual screenshot, and this is what you see in the game when you edit tiles. You actually see a giant hand
Wait,
on
really?
the TV. Yes, this is not
Wait,
part of
really?
a trailer. Yeah, you see this literally on your TV.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
No.
Wait, can that be changed? Wait, because there was other footage we saw of this where you saw a cat's paw
Yeah,
instead.
I was about to mention that. Like, I think the hand you see is random, and sometimes it'll be a cat's paw, just like pawing the screen.
Well, there better be a left-handed model. That's all I'm saying.
Square Enix also showcased, well, a weird gameplay trailer of Hitman. Like, I kind of wish they would have just shown proper gameplay. It was more like snippets of gameplay from various angles. Looked more like a in-game cutscene trailer, really. But I have heard impressions from E3 from like Hitman fans saying that it plays a lot like Hitman Blood Money, and if that's the case, then yes, I definitely would be very interested in that. And that is it for the notes I have written down.
Okay.
For E3.
Okay.
So maybe I can let Ryman talk now.
Well, I guess I'll start with a couple of things from Bethesda. So beforehand, I was wanting to see Doom because it's like it is making a new Doom game, and they've not been in the best of shape. Like Rage was not a terribly great game. I thought it was okay but boring. And then so they opened by showing the new Doom, and so they made a big deal of like it being violent, lots of big guns, and it being fast. And then they showed the gameplay footage of a guy walking around very slowly, admiring the visual detail.
That just sounds like any E3 gameplay demo
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
really.
but that's not what I wanted from Doom. I just wanted them to emphasize the speed. Like if it's actually fast, then show it to me. Then went on, like there was a really big emphasis on these like random melee finishers, which it just seemed like if you did a certain amount of damage to an enemy without killing them, they'd flash, and then you'd be able to do this random scripted animation on them, which, well, I'm kind of tired of that in any game. So seeing it in Doom was like not the best news. I was at least somewhat pleased that they attempted to address the fact that Doom has this massive legendary modding community with this whole snap map thing, but the fact that they had to design it for consoles too, it's like, sure, you can make stuff for the game, but it's just a lot more limited than what that community will probably be used to.
Yeah, I mean, like early id games, you had source code access to games, and you had a professional level editor to use. So it is sad in a way that you're not getting that again, because that is what the modding community were for Doom and Quake games.
Last thing I'll say about Doom is that they had another demo set in hell, and the hell looked metal as hell from like a visual perspective, which I was cool with. That one also showed more enemies. I saw the invisible Pinky Demon and Mancubus in there, which now shoots plasma balls instead of fireballs, but it's still a fat bastard with 2 guns for arms. So there you go. And then the demo show, and that demo ended with a tease of the Cyber Demon, who's now really fucking massive. And they also briefly showed the BFG, the big fucking gun. And yeah, that was the Doom demo. I was like, it looked nice visually, but I was underwhelmed. Next thing I want to touch on from Bethesda is something that actually leaked beforehand, and that was Dishonored 2. They showed a CG trailer for Dishonored 2, which confirmed that there's a new protagonist, and it's Emily from the first game.
Oh, that person. I've not played Dishonored.
Yeah, so some small spoilers for those that have not played the first Dishonored. Emily was the daughter of the Empress, who you basically spent the entire first game trying to either rescue or protect. And she was just like a little girl in that game, and now in Dishonored 2 she's all grown up, and she now has fancy assassin powers like the protagonist of the first game as well. It was also revealed after that at that conference that you can actually choose between playing as the protagonist of the first game and Emily, and they'll both have different unique power sets. So there's some replayability in there that might be interesting.
I just started to think about something.
Yeah.
So how does he do that? Like, does he have 3 arms? Like, how does he hold the shield and then reload the revolver using 2 hands? Like, how does that work, man? Like, come on, I don't understand this.
Maybe he moves the shield like further up his arm to free up his second arm, and then that'll let him reload the gun.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, because it didn't even seem like the. I really messed it up, didn't I? Never mind.
All right. Well, I guess now we can talk a bit about Fallout 4, because, good God, did they have a lot to say about Fallout 4. But I'll just touch on a few specific points. 1. Regardless of whether you pick a male or female character, the protagonist is fully voiced. 2. The dialogue system is now very Mass Effect-y. You now have 4 dialogue options. You press one of the 4 face buttons on like an Xbox controller to pick your dialogue option. There is a dog. I have apparently heard that he cannot die, which is actually kind of different because there was dogs in earlier Fallout games that could die quite easily, apparently. There's also, you can build like a settlement out in the wasteland in a very sort of Minecrafty way where. So Bethesda games have always had a lot of like random junk you could pick up that didn't have much of a use. They've now given that all that random junk a use. You can convert it into scrap, which is used as resources for building all these settlements, which is actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's coming out in November this year, and there's a $100 collector's edition where you get a Pip-Boy you can strap to your wrist and put your smartphone into, and there's a Pip-Boy app that connects with the game and works just like the in-game Pip-Boy.
Yeah, they talked a lot about that thing, which is essentially a cover for smartphones, a plastic cover for smartphones.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know, there were certainly a lot of people in that audience that loved Plastic Tat. So next, I think might have covered everything I wanted to talk about from Microsoft. Oh no, wait, no, there was one thing. So Recore. There was a CG trailer for a new game during Microsoft's press conference called Recore, and it's being helmed by Keiji Inafune of Mega Man fame.
Yeah, and he's also behind games like Dead Rising 1.
And apparently some like the video also said from former staff behind Metroid Prime, who I guess don't work at Retro anymore.
Yeah, apparently it's Armature or whatever they're called.
Yeah, that was the company name that was mentioned. So yeah, they've had the CG trailer of this woman and this robot dog who sacrificed itself, of course. But then I guess the core mechanic is that, well, judging from the CG trailer, is that this dog can blow itself up, and then you can take the core and put it in another robot, and hey, it's back as something else with a completely new set of abilities. So Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can say much because it was city trailer being a city trailer.
Yeah. Um, I guess I'll just touch on a couple of things pretty quickly. Like Rise of the Tomb Raider looks pretty. I can't wait for the exclusivity agreement to run out on that game so I can play on PC.
You're not going
Uh,
for the Xbox 360 version of that?
no.
Oh,
Gears.
wait. Maybe it'll be backwards compatible and you could play the 360 version on an Xbox One.
Oh.
Oh!
I would be surprised if a lot of Xbox 360 titles that are also available on Xbox One will be approved because the publishers probably just won't see the point. They'll just say they might want to drive sales to the Xbox One version instead.
Mm.
Be dicks that way. Gears of War 4. They announced that after very briefly talking about Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I thought they would actually talk about it. It was so weird and confusing that I actually thought the footage they were showing of Gears of War 4 was Ultimate Edition. But then I was like, wait, I remember Gears of War 1. This scene wasn't anywhere in the game. Oh, that's a new character. Okay.
So yeah, that was during, well, one of the many bits I was just very, like, I decided, okay, I'm gonna pay full attention to this amazing duck game level. So I have no idea really what happened during the Gears of War 4 video.
Well, so the sequence they basically showed, it was very reminiscent of like the slower, darker sequences that were a bit more common in the
Oh yeah,
first Gears of War.
like those slow moments from Gears of War where like main character is holding his hand to his ear and talking to someone and you can't move fast because cinema. Ugh.
Thankfully, I didn't see that in the demo footage. But no, I was more meaning like the sequences in the first game where you were like trying to avoid the krill when it was nighttime. Like it felt reminiscent of stuff like that, and it was very dark. It was really hard to see what was going on at times.
So would you play a new Gears of War game?
I might actually like.
Did it look like a Gears of War game you would play?
Maybe I'd certainly be more tempted to play it if I had a friend to play through in co-op, because playing through those games in co-op is actually quite fun. But if there was no one else, I probably wouldn't bother, to be honest. Right, and then oh yeah, EA, they gave us a Mass Effect trailer.
Oh yeah, Mass Effect. I completely forgot about that.
So instead of just calling it the next Mass Effect, I can now call it Mass Effect Andromeda because that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And well, it's again that Frostbite engine doing some work. I legitimately thought it was a CG trailer, but then I went back and watched the trailer later and it said this is in-game footage.
Okay, so this I didn't know that. I just assumed it was CG.
Yeah. Man, and then that moment, like it was that guy flicking through images of random planets, and then he turns around, you see he's holding a Carnifex pistol, and you see the N7 logo on his chest. Yes.
So I mean, based on how the other games panned out story-wise, and based on the fact that this subtitle, like Adam said while we were watching, that it kind of implies this takes place in a new galaxy. It sounds like this will be pretty much like a new cast, maybe new enemies, like all new areas.
Yeah, they've pretty much said that from the start. Like this will have very little connection to the old trilogy.
How do you feel about it? Like no Garrus, no Citadel.
True, but like Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, that story arc is done.
They could just randomly decide this is the canon storyline for Mass Effect 1 through 3.
I hope not. That'll just stir up another shitstorm, and I'm pretty sure BioWare wants to avoid that as much as I do. I guess, like, for fuck's sake.
Oh, it was very brief.
But yeah, like they've also been teasing that the Mako will be coming back in Andromeda, hopefully better, because it was like a bouncy trampoline. Yeah, hi Akbar. It was like a bouncy trampoline in the first Mass Effect. Also, I guess you have some sort of jump jet pack in Mass Effect now, because that was very briefly shown. Hi Akbar.
I think Mass Effect would be better if Akbar had. Okay, Akbar could replace that commander dude who talked to you the entire time. And like he would like randomly like call it during missions and give you intel like it's a trap. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Mm. And then okay, so No Man's Sky.
Oh.
Talk about No Man's Sky next. The ever lovable Sean Murray came back out on stage during Sony's press conference, and he actually played it. He actually played No Man's Sky and gave us a bit of a better idea as to how that all works.
Yeah.
And I still want to play that game. He also closed out the PC gaming show and basically just said, "Hey, we don't have a release date yet, but when we do, it'll come out the same day as PS4 on PC."
Yeah, I thought that was really good.
which is good news.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still dig that game's art style. I still want to know what exactly you do in that game other than get to the center of the
Did
universe.
you like I can't remember which show it was related to, but that was some kind of show. Might have been related to like the December PlayStation show where there was a bunch of gameplay info released about the game, like how it plays.
I'm not sure. All I know is that apparently the ultimate goal is to get to the center of the universe.
Yeah, that was also one of the bits mentioned in that piece of information. Like, for instance, whenever you start the game, you will spawn in a random spot in the galaxy, and your overall goal, which is optional, is to reach the center of the galaxy, where apparently you will get some kind of mind-blowing cutscene. But that is optional. Like even if you do that, you can still keep playing, just like do whatever you want. And it seems like it will have a bunch of elements like buy bigger ships, like do trading, like fight AIs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
With the amount of different experiences that could be had with No Man's Sky, I think that's going to be a very interesting game to stream and watch streams of. So I'm looking forward to when that finally comes out. Hopefully it'll be good.
And I just want to put that out there for anyone who's interested in No Man's Sky. Maybe thinking, maybe it could be good, or maybe it turn out to be not so good. There's still Elite Dangerous, which is very similar, and is out, and it's a really good game. So I would suggest people look into that as well.
I agree with that.
I think the last Sony thing I'll talk about is the Uncharted 4 demo they finished with, because I thought that was a very, very impressive demo.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, that gameplay bit with Nathan Drake standing still for a minute. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, I was more impressed by like the driving sequence in particular, because it looks like there was lots of different routes you could take to avoid that fucking truck. Which
I'm kind of curious how timed that is, because when he finally reached the truck, it looked like he only barely reached it. So I wonder if it's one of those driving segments where if you like do a mistake and you lose a couple of seconds, game over. Because
maybe.
that would be slightly potentially annoying. Slightly.
But I just couldn't help be impressed by the scope of it all. Like they had that huge, massive sequence, very detailed as well visually, and it just kept going and going and going. Like there's level streaming technology for that game must be insane, because that environment was just went on and on and on. It was just absolutely massive. So yeah, definitely looking a lot more forward to that than I was previously. So good job, Naughty Dog.
Yes.
Can we talk about how much massive dick trolls Square Enix were before they finally showed us footage of Kingdom Hearts 3? Good God. Like, they say they're going to show us footage of Kingdom Hearts 3, but first, here's this mobile game you don't give a shit about. Then there's these two Disney people talking for a while.
I still find the whole FF7 remake thing baffling, considering what they did during December, where they made a huge deal out of a Final Fantasy 7 port to PS4.
Yeah.
That entire situation is baffling, considering FF7 remake was a real thing. They just didn't announce it then.
That's fine. No one likes that guy anymore. Yes, they finally they finally showed us new footage of Kingdom Hearts 3, which looks extremely pretty. And Sora has a lot of new abilities, like he can dual wield laser guns, and he can summon a roller coaster out of thin air, and a pirate ship that rocks back and forth and hits enemies. And it was a little hard to follow at times, but it looked really nice. And god damn it, I like Kingdom Hearts 1, I like Kingdom Hearts 2, and I want to see how it ends. Whether no more of this spin-off nonsense. I never got into any of the spin-offs. I just want the third main entry in my hands. I want to finish it. And that is that.
Are those all your notes?
Trying to think.
Because I think I'm pretty sure I've gone through all the stuff I want to talk about.
Was there anything else? That one. I guess that's pretty much everything. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about.
Okay. Did you have anything specific you want to talk about, Skkyzelda?
I guess I had a couple. Let's see, mostly from the Nintendo conference. Hyrule Warriors Legends.
Oh yeah, that's
was
like a
announced,
port of
Warriors
Hyrule
the
Warriors for
3DS.
3DS, yeah.
Yeah, although it was pretty much leaked before E3, but they also announced Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, you just reminded me of that.
And it looks, yeah, it's basically a combination of A Link Between Worlds and Four Swords, only it's 3 people. And it has online multiplayer.
Which means I'll buy it.
Me too.
Like, that was
Do you
always
have
the
any-
things I was sore about with the Four Swords game. Like, it was local only the whole time, but that was also because, like, it was like on the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance and stuff like that. So of course there was no online. But yeah, like a game like that, but online is something I've actually wanted to try at least for quite some time. So I'm glad it's finally happening.
Yeah. And Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, which is basically Animal Crossing but Mario Party style.
Oh dear.
It does look. It looks really cute though, and I'm really compelled to play it.
But if it's anything like Mario Party, it is just a game designed to make you hate your friends.
I know.
Like it's an evil game.
Well, that, and it's a game designed to sell more amiibos that no one can get because they don't make enough of them.
That's true.
It is almost scary how quickly Nintendo keep pushing out new amiibos.
It's ridiculous. They are really starting to piss people off now with the whole amiibo thing and how few of them there are.
I think it's a little bit mean to lock so much gameplay content behind those.
That too.
Because that will just push people to buy more gadgets they have lying around in your house taking space, which I'm getting a little bit tired of with certain gaming stuffs.
Yeah. What's it called? The Happy Home Designer, another Animal Crossing thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm more excited about. I'm not like about it, but I'm fairly interested in it because you do get to basically build up an entire town. Like one of the demos I was watching, she made a school, like she furnished a school, and people actually were going into the school, or like a shopping center, and people were actually shopping. It's not just homes, which I thought was really cool. It's a little intimidating though because I'm not a designer. I have no sense of style at all.
When did Cthulhu join Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. But let's see what else. What else is not Nintendo? All I have to say about the Final Fantasy VII remake is I was really, really, really into Advent Children. I didn't play the games because of the turn-based gameplay. I did play Dirge of Cerberus, which I don't know if, which is technically a Final Fantasy game. I mean, it has a Final Fantasy character in it.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
favorite.
that would be like a Final Fantasy 7 spin-off, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sort of interested in playing it now.
I
Final
guess
Fantasy
a big question is how faithful they'll be in the remake, if it'll like play exactly like the like Final Fantasy 7, or if they try to modernize the gameplay to make it more action-oriented like other modern Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
I hope not.
Mm,
I think one improvement they could make to the game is to, I mean, let's be honest, Cloud, Sephiroth, they're girls. They look like girls, so they might as well take the next step and replace every single character with vanilla.
oh,
There you go. That's the solution.
have you heard Sephiroth's Japanese voice actor? His voice is very manly.
He's just faking it. She's just faking it. Sorry. I mean, look at that hair. Come on, look at their hair. Like their hair. Come on.
Ah.
I wonder what Sectus would think about Yuffie. Because Yuffie was a very
Oh yeah.
Is her real name Vanille? Because I'm not impressed so far.
she's.
I love Yuffie.
There you go. What needs to be said? What else needs to be said?
Let's see what else. I'm trying to remember stuff from the PC show besides Soma.
The PC show was long, by the way.
2.5 hours of talking, fucking talking.
Do you
It was
regret
too
not
long.
staying up now, Ryman?
I am so glad I didn't stay up.
Ugh.
Holy shit.
I didn't think it would be that long. That's so long. And I just, what did they show? Like what? Oh.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
They-
So how did you guys think of the host? Mr.
It
Day9?
seemed okay, I guess.
He was
Yeah.
forgettable.
Okay.
Okay, unforgettable.
Yeah.
So,
But,
he made it tolerable, I think.
Oh yeah, it was tolerable. But I was kind of a little pissed off because I've been waiting for like 2 hours and for the frictional games guy because I wanted to hear about Soma. And I was like, here's a trailer, and it was like a 2-minute trailer. Like, okay, next up. And I was like, oh, really?
It's a trap.
It's basically a trailer of them in a dark hallway deep under the sea and some guy chasing the main character. It's like okay, that's Amnesia, you know. Show us something other than the whole mechanics of Amnesia.
It was a bit weird because there was a show earlier this year where I saw a very extensive gameplay demo of Soma.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, it was like maybe it may have even been like 10-15 minutes long, and there was this robot who the dialogue made it sound like he thought he was human, the robot.
There was sort of something like that in Penumbra. Like this guy, you're talking to this guy who seemed sane, and all of a sudden you open the door and he's just like, attack you, and I'm like, that was really scary. But yeah.
It seems interesting, but I'm a big baby when it comes to those kinds of games, so I probably won't get it.
Aw.
I couldn't even finish Amnesia, and that's, well, what else needs to be said in that front?
Yeah.
So I really did not pay a lot of attention during the PC Gaming Show. Was there anything else of interest?
Well, only if you like StarCraft.
I'm not into StarCraft.
Yeah, like they announced there will be 3 prologue missions for Legacy of the Void that will be available for free to anyone, even if you don't own any StarCraft 2 games. Which, I mean, I like the single player campaigns of StarCraft 2, so I'm looking forward to when Legacy of the Void finally comes out, but Yeah, that's all they said, basically. They also talked a bit about their new MOBA, Heroes of the Storm, but I don't care about that. It is really hard to remember everything that happened. I mean, AMD showed graphics cards and a PC that they made that was really small.
A PC.
And like I would need a list because it all kind of blurred together.
But yeah, like nothing notable you can think of.
So the only two like playable demonstrations they actually had up on stage were of indie games, specifically Strafe, which is sort of this procedurally generated Doom/Quake inspired FPS, which I think looks kind of cool. I think it got kickstarted.
Is it more similar to Doom than Doom?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
Absolutely.
There's a new Doom game.
And the other gameplay demo was for Enter the Gungeon, which has been described as a cross between The Binding of Isaac and a bullet hell shooter. And like they demonstrated a co-op, and there is a dodge roll with a lot of iframes where you can dodge through waves of bullets, and that looked cool. But yeah, they should have done more of that. I would have stayed awake more, I think. More actual gameplay demonstrations and people talking over explaining what it all means. I mean, like, Sony actually learned a fucking lesson. Their conference was half an hour shorter than usual. Like, good job.
I don't mind the length so much as long as they have interesting stuff to show. I don't think the Sony conference felt slow at any point.
I think 2 hours for any conference is pushing it. Really. Oh, okay. So, 2 more quick things. 1, Cuphead looks incredible. Still want it.
Yeah.
That was during Xbox, but I think it's also coming for PC as well. And so David Braben, the head guy who behind Elite Dangerous, they announced a new game at the PC gaming show.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's I forget the name.
Planet Coaster.
Yeah. They have made several roller coaster games in the past, so I guess they're going back to that.
All right. So what roller coaster games have they made?
They made Thrillville, which I played a lot of Xbox 360. I thought that was pretty good. I think there's several games in that series, and I might be wrong, but they might have worked on several roller coaster tycoon games. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Roller Coaster Tycoon, because I didn't play it much, but I kind of like Roller Coaster Tycoon. So.
Did you know which one you played?
The first one.
Okay, the first one is not made by them. The first one is made by I forget his name, but the same guy who made Transport Tycoon. I guess maybe that would be it. Maybe that is a fairly good summary of E3s.
Well, that's it for us at least.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no RE7, no DMC 5, no Soul Calibur 6, no Magic Carpet.
I told you that was pushing it.
I want a new Magic Carpet!
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, that's it. So bye bye guys, bye bye.
Bye.